On to this story now. Parliament's Standing Committee on Finance has today given the green light to the so-called two-pot retirement system to start much earlier than the National Treasury had proposed. The two-pot retirement system will, among others, allow people to access 1/3 of their pension savings before retirement. Joining me now to talk about the latest news is Blessing Utete, the Managing Executive at Old Mutual Corporate Consultants. Blessings, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I'm sure the pensions and investment sector is surely breathing a sigh of relief that there is now clarity on the matter of the date. But what are the details in terms of the official start date of this policy?
Good evening, Xolani, and good evening to your viewers. So yes, you're quite right. As of today, the Standing Committee on Finance in Parliament reached a compromised implementation date of the 1st of September 2024. And as you will probably be aware, the National Treasury had originally proposed a date of 1 March 2025, which the Standing Committee of Finance had suggested is be made 1 March 2024. This morning, the Minister wrote to the Standing Committee and suggested that the date be amended to the 1st of September 2024, and that is the date that will now go to Parliament, we believe, on Wednesday for approval of this bill.
Blessing, there are different approaches when it comes to this particular policy. What are the major changes for those who are currently contributing to their retirement annuities and other pension funds? How does it impact them versus those who are already receiving an income from their RAs and their pensions?
All right. So, Xolani, this generally affects those people that are members of retirement funds, so pension funds, provident funds, retirement annuity funds. And effectively what the changes will mean is that members of these funds can access 1/3 of their retirement savings that they've been contributing into these funds before they get to resigning or before they get to retirement, which is quite a change. As you know, retirement funds and pension funds are set up for people when they get to retire. And the two-pot system is now going to actually allow people to have some access of their money before they actually get to retirement. And I think maybe it's important that I just make mention of why this legislation is coming through. One of the challenges that is quite prevalent in the retirement sector is that people do not preserve their retirement funds. They usually, on resignation, generally the current laws allow people to take their pension funds in full before they get to retirement. What this two-pot system will be set up to do is that 1/3 of the contributions being made towards retirement will be set up as a savings portion and can be accessed before retirement, and 2/3 of the contributions will go into a retirement pot. And that retirement pot people will not be able to access until they get to retirement. So it's quite a significant change in terms of just making sure that people have some savings when they get to retirement. Because what we often found was that when people are contributing and they leave or change jobs, they were changing jobs and taking that money and using it for other things other than retirement. By the time they get to retirement, they actually have depleted all their retirement savings. So this is quite an elegant way of making sure that people preserve a large portion of their retirement savings before they get to retirement.
And Blessing, of course, a lot of people who are in support of the system have been saying that if we had started earlier as a country to implement this, we would be in a much better footing when it comes to the household finances. And that's because at the age of retirement, many South Africans are looking to the grants system to circumvent their income.
Quite right, Xolani. That is the good thing about the changes that are coming through. The future generations, the people that are joining the workforce and starting retirement, let's say this is implemented 1st of September next year, if they start contributing from then into their retirement years, they will be in a much better off position than those people that have been able to access their retirement savings before retirement. In fact, our calculations show that people will actually be as much as 4 to 5 times better off in the two-pot system than they would be in the old system that we currently have, where people have been able to access their retirement savings and utilize them without preserving for retirement. So it is going to mean a significant change in the financial wellness of people that are contributing towards retirement, because that will mean that people will not be able to access that 2/3 right up until they get to retirement.
Remind us again, what is the retirement age that has been set under this system? Because some South Africans are actually deciding to retire at 55, while others retire at 65, and many others continue working post-retirement age.
Well, retirement ages vary depending on the rules of the pension fund and the conditions of employment that people are in. So generally, different employers will have different retirement ages. But generally, yes, from age 55 onwards, that is when people can start taking early retirement. But importantly, the later you retire, the better off you are, because you enjoy a longer period of investment until you get to retirement. So that is actually one of the factors that improves retirement outcomes. If you can delay retirement and get to access your retirement savings later, then you actually would probably be better off than someone that accesses their retirement savings at an early age of, say, 55. So it does vary, but from an income tax perspective, you can retire from the age of 55 onwards.
Blessing, we also know, as you've mentioned, there is a debate in Parliament on the two-pot retirement system on Wednesday, so this matter is far from over. Even if when the matter is actually implemented, the system is implemented in September next year, the different rules that govern different fund managers will require that they do more work as well, because there are different laws or policies under different funds. The FSCA will need to be involved as well, so it's not the end of the road by any stretch.
Quite right, Xolani. That is what the industry has been saying. There are a few things that need to happen between now and the effective date. So as you say, Parliament needs to approve the Pension Funds Amendment Bill, as well as the Revenue Laws Amendment Bill. Those need to be approved before the FSCA can approve the rules of the retirement funds that people participate in. We know there's about 1,300 individual retirement funds that the FSCA will need to amend rules for, and that process does take time in its own right. There's also SARS. We know that in the two-pot system, when you access that 1/3 that people will have access to, that will be taxed at your marginal rate. SARS need to get their systems up set up so that they can actually allow for those tax directives to be complied with, and for the administrators to actually deduct the right tax. So that is a process that SARS needed time to actually get up to speed with. And then lastly, there are some funds that are actually not part of the Pension Funds Act, like the Government Employees Pension Fund. That also needs a separate mechanism in which those rules are amended for the Government Employees Pension Fund to also participate in the two-pot system. So yes, you're quite right. There's still quite a lot of moving parts that need to align for us to get to that effective date of the 1st of September 2024. But first, it's in Parliament later this week, we believe, and then we'll know whether that implementation date has been approved or not.
So, Blessing, clearly those households who opt to actually go for the 1/3 of the retirement and taking it to settle debts and the like, it will benefit. But what about the industry itself? Surely, when there is a lot of money in the kitty, you have more money to invest locally and offshore.
Yeah, so in fact, the investment strategy, I think it's important to say that the two-pot definition, yes, people are going to be able to access the funds in that 1/3 pot, but this is all generally retirement fund money and would need to comply with the respective investment regulations like Regulation 28. So that investment strategy for retirement fund assets will still apply to all retirement savings. What is going to happen, maybe I just need to mention, when you say how people will enjoy this, there is some seeding that will happen from previous retirement assets as at the date of implementation. People will be able to seed 10% up to a maximum of 30,000 Rand into the new savings pot. And that's what people will be able to access on that 1st of September, if that is the date that this becomes implemented. So there will be a portion that people will be able to see. But from an investment perspective, we expect that the investment strategy generally, from a retirement fund perspective, stays very much the same.
Blessing Utete is the managing executive at Old Mutual Corporate Consultants. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon.